Hello and welcome to today's YouTube tutorial. In today's video I want to show you how you can create such a digital calling system. For this we directly create two different dashboards. One for your worker where he can enter some status information with a touch screen, and the other one for the shift leader to directly see if a problem is occurring somewhere. How this works I'll show you now. I'm now on the Peakport Designer, where I will start by adding a header here on the canvas, and I will call it Production Overview. So this will be the first dashboard we are creating for the shift leader, where he can see the production overview. Let's set the font to header 1, and now I will continue by adding a new list, and I will call this one states. So this states list will later define all the production lines. So we create here 3 columns. The first one will be line of type string, and the second one will be the state of type number. And in the state we define that the number 1 means that we have here an issue in this production line, and if it's 0 then everything is fine. Let's add one more column, and I will call this one parts. I've already added some example data, which you can see here, and also I want to set this accessibility via API to read and write. That makes it possible later to access the data from another Peakport box. I will click on OK to create this variable list. Now let's drag and drop it to the canvas and show it as a styled collection list. Here we can start by creating a template for that, and the first thing I want to do here is change the width and the height, and I also want to add rectangle on the screen to create a nicer looking background. So let me just put that one to black, that one as well, and I will set here a border color and the border size like this. Now I add text here on the canvas, and I will move it here to the top left, and I will connect it to the line. So this one is defining the name of the current production line. And now I add a circular gauge, adding it there here, and connect this one to the parts and put it here into the mid of this tile. Change the visual settings a little bit, like the color and this stuff, and add a color gradient. And also I want to change here the value font and create some rules that I want to change it to red if a problem occurs. So let's just connect here this one with the state, and as we've said, if the state is 1 then a problem is here, so I change here the filled color to red if a problem occurs. And the same thing I just want to do here for the border, so add a rule here as well, and just exactly the same again, connect it to the state and set the border color to red if a problem occurs. Yeah, that's basically all we need to do here. Now let's jump into the next dashboard. Also in this dashboard I start by adding a header here. So I drag a text on the canvas, place it to the correct position and call it line. And so I set the font to header 1. Then let's add a second one and place it next to the line. And I will create a variable, and this one again I will call line. And as default value I just set x32, which is one of the production lines. So now I connect this text to my variable. Now the next thing I want to do is adding 2 more variables, one for the produced parts, this one I call parts and set it to the number, and one for the state. And also this one is a number, as we've already have seen. The 0 means that everything is fine, and 1 means that we have an issue here. Now let's continue by adding a rectangle here on the canvas and increase its size a little bit. And then let's increase the height a bit and add here a circular gauge again. And this one we connect to the produced parts. So let's just put it here into the mid, increase a bit in the height, and let's put it to 25. And then also here I will add this gradient. Now I need to add the functionality, so for this I start by adding a button here on the canvas and move it again to the right position, and here I just write done, which means that one should later send the value to +1 when I'm done with one part. So for that I add a Peakboard box data source here, and I call this one Shift Leader because it's the Peakboard box of the Shift Leader, and on the button I can select the Peakboard box with the data, and in that case I select a list and I can click here on load data, which give me the possibility to see all the production lines here. And as we can see, we have the parts and the states for each of them. Let's click on OK, double click the done button. So this gives us the possibility to create the functionality here. And the first thing here I want to do is set the variable parts to the variable parts, but I want to increase the parts by 1. This one I add here 1 to the parts, and afterwards I send it to the other Peakboard box. So for that I go to publish to external systems and to external Peakboard boxes, and here I say set value by row number. It's this list Shift Leader, and the row ID I get by finding the index of this Shift Leader box, and for the column line and for the current line which we have in the variable line, so this one. Then let's duplicate this one and put it here as well, and then I add the parts here which were increased by 1 and the state to the state variable. Now let's copy all these blocks here by right clicking to the empty canvas and click here on copy all blocks and create 2 more buttons. So this one will be the button when something is wrong. Then let's change here the border color and also the font and increase the border size. I think I will do the same for here. And let's jump into that script. And here we can just do more or less the same. So we paste just the thing we have and set the state to 1, because as we defined, 1 is a problem state, and yeah, then we send just the rest as it is. And we can copy this button here to another position and then call this one all okay, set the font and the border color and double click this script, and in that case I want to set the state to 0. So that's basically it. I can now click here on the preview button on the top, and here now I have the possibility to increase the produced parts, and also I can create problem or click on all OK. When I click here on problem, the Peakboard box of the Shift Leader will set here this border to a red border, so the Shift Leader directly can see something went wrong here. That's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time.